When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world.
I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings, this is Kotobukijake. I'm coming to you here today to start off a little video review series that I've been wanting to do for a little while, and haven't gotten around to it, in part because it's going to be a little bit of a time suck. It's going to take some time. And that is, I would like to go through what movies I can do from my own collection of the Criterion collection. If you watch our videos on this channel, if you both myself and Septum make frequent reference to our being pretty avid collectors of Criterion films. I think we both have our doubts about the selection process that they sometimes use. We're working on a video to be released probably next month when they do the half-off sale again. We'll probably do a top 15 list of movies that really need the Criterion treatment. And let me tell you, I'm going to have a hard time whittling it down to 15. We're probably going to have to do one of those. It's at least going to be yearly. It's at least going to be yearly. And there's an ongoing auction on eBay that I have been way too interested in that is reminding me just how much stuff they've put out and how much of it I've never even heard of. And I've got a lot of those coming out soon, and that was kind of the fire that was lit under my butt to yeah, I'm going to have to watch all those films in order to leave feedback. Now, I'm probably not going to be watching the bonus features before I leave feedback, because that might be unfair to the seller. But I do plan to go through. What I'd like to do is to do what Septum does with his reviews and do a full product review, basically covering everything I can about the release. And so far I have recently watched 2 Criterion films. I may have to put Rebecca on the back burner until I get through some of these eBay ones, just because Rebecca's there's so much stuff there. What I may end up doing is going ahead and watching the new ones, and then starting with Rebecca, just going through the bonus features as quickly as I can.
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it.
Oh, I am enjoying this scene.
Get on with it.
Yeah. But I did get one done. And this is one that we've already commented on this channel that Criterion probably jumped the gun putting this out as quickly as they did. Because the film came out in Poland, I believe, in 2017. At the very least, it was released, well, let's see, no, I think 2016. Sorry, 2015, according to the back of the thing. But it was released here in limited release in the art house theaters in 2017 and came out on Criterion just a few months later. And it's not enough time to really build up a Criterion level, worthy level of bonus features. But it still has some good bonus features.
I got 5 pieces of candy. I got a chocolate bar. I got a quarter. I got a rock.
And so the first film I'm going to do in this series is one that we've already talked about on our channel a few times. We recently devoted an episode of Inside Movies Galore to this film, so check that out if you haven't already. But this is going to be more of a specific product review for a film called Danse Kokingu, aka The Lure. This one here, which is a movie about mermaids. To be a little bit more inclusive and to give a fuller view of what it's about, the film is partly an homage to a pair of sisters who actually grew up in Poland, who became musicians and in fact do the music for the film, and they are the Ronska sisters, Barbara and Zuzana. I don't remember which was which. One of them was the musician, one was the lyricist for this film, but they worked closely together and they worked closely with the sound designer. So the film is partly a tribute to the Ronska sisters. It's partly a very twisted, anti-Disney retelling of Hans Christian Andersen's The Little Mermaid. And it is a musical horror dramedy with mermaids. So, now that we got all that done...
Rysiu, zapraszam.
Dziewczynki, boicie się?
Musicie się tylko dobrze bawić, reszta pójdzie sama. Chodźcie za mną.
Ja nie chcę.
Zespół Figi Daktyle z gościnnym udziałem dwóch sióstr, dwóch syrenek. Srebrnej i złotej. Brawa! Przystojne, prawda?
And it is the brainchild of, well, from what I understand, it was it was very much a collaborative effort, but between director Agnieszka Smozinska and screenwriter Robert Brelesto. And I do apologize, I don't know Polish, and I realize that I know a lot of the pronunciations, but I'm going to flub a few of them. I do apologize ahead of time. But this film is, again, it's a very strange, odd film. It's very intriguing.
Yeah, well, you know, that's just like your opinion, man.
I first heard of it when we on this channel were doing our release previews back last year, and I'd never heard of it before. But we were looking at the description: horror musical from Poland with mermaids. It's
And now for something completely different.
like, oh, I've got to see that. And they took a while to get it for the library, but they eventually did, and I checked it out, and I was like, this is cool. I like it. I don't know. No, words kind of fail me a little bit. But, so I recommended it to the, I kind of recommended it to the Inside Movies Galore group, and our host, David Striggy, was fascinated by the idea and locked it into his brain as one we had to do. So we eventually did. The film is flawed. Let's put it, this is Smozinska's first feature-length film, and she clearly was still learning some of the tricks of the trade. But one of the well, we'll get to that in a minute, but it's very much a 80s in an alternate universe movie. Basically, the most of the people, the Wronska sisters, Bolento, Smozinska, grew up in Soviet-tinged Poland in the 80s. They're pretty much, I think every one of them is like 2 to 5 years older than me, so they were in their formative years by the late 80s, so basically early 80s, they remembered what was going on, but it was like their childhood. And so they wanted to kind of pay tribute to how they remembered it, which is not exactly the same as how it actually was, but, you know, that's the case with most people. You remember your childhood a little differently in most cases than it really was. Especially, I would say probably, well, yeah, I'd say that's a pretty decent generalization. And then, of course, Smozinska also had a little bit of an axe to grind, apparently, against The Little Mermaid, because it is widely considered to be a distinctly less than feminist tale, let's put it that way. And Disney gave it a happy ending.
Congratulations! Congratulations! Congratulations!
Congratulations.
Congratulations!
Congratulations.
Congratulations! Congratulations!
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations!
Congratulations. Thank you all.
The original one, not so much. I really do think that this film was intentionally thumbing of the nose to Disney, partly because the film is a musical, and partly because they do make reference at one point. There is a lesbian love scene that involves the line, "I'll take you to Disneyland," which is like, the film the music is great. And actually, another thing, it's not just Disney. They did specifically also take into account the legend of sirens and considered that to be partially from the same well, if you will, to the legends of mermaids. And it's a very interesting idea that actually I think I'd already had a similar notion on my own. It's not the first time it's been done, but it's one of the few times it's been done, and it's probably the first time that it's been done so well, I think. The idea of playing mermaids as sirens. These girls have phenomenal voices, and they do lead the songs. There are quite a few of the songs. There's quite a few songs in the movie. And several of them are partially or fully by other people, but the two sisters take the lead on quite a few. And it was a very cool way of blending the two myths, the two legends, and I really like that. Smozinska has also commented that the mermaids were supposed to have sort of a draconic feel to them too, and that bugs me a little bit, because I actually was so proud years ago, and I came up with the idea that merfolk and dragons should be cut from the same cloth. I genuinely cannot think of any other instance in pop culture before this one where that was the case. But I've been so damn lazy about getting my work out.
Monkey's out of the bottle, man.
So many good ideas I've had, other people have had in the meantime. It's so annoying, but...
Who knows where thoughts come from? They just appear.
But at any rate, the basic gist of it is you have two sisters, mermaids, who meet a band, a mother and father and their son, a nearly grown son, who are a band in a seedy nightclub in early 1980s Warsaw, Poland. And the band kind of takes them in. They live with them in their tiny, drab apartment, and they perform with them on stage. The performance goes under the name Kotobukijake, which I don't believe that is literally translated the lore, so I'm kind of wondering. I think it's something more like dancing something or other. I want to say dancing. I don't remember how they translate it.
What? Nothing for you.
Again, Polish is not my strong suit, but at any rate, that's kind of the basic plot setup. One of the girls, Silver, is she falls in love with the boy, the young man, and his name is Mietek. She falls in love with him, whereas Golden, or I hope I'm not getting them mixed up. I know because I'm doing a video now, I'm going to get things mixed up. I'm almost sure that Silver is the one who falls in love. Yes, okay, yeah. So Silver falls in love with Mietek. And meanwhile, Golden is far more feral. Let's put it that way. She is much more in touch with her mermaid heritage, if you will. She is very wild, and this is partly where the horror elements come in. There are horror elements scattered throughout in different ways, but one of the ways is that Golden is fairly bloodthirsty, and it's not played heavily, but when it is played, it is very interesting. And there is some blood and gore in the film. In fact, it's very realistically done. Although, thankfully, they don't dwell on it. I don't like seeing these things. I prefer to have them implied, and for the most part, it's implied in the movie. There's a little bit shown. And then you've got, meanwhile, the lead singer of the band, Criterion, is... I guess you could say increasingly unsure about this little contract that she's made. You got this weird dude, Triton, who's also from their world, who also made the trek to land and becomes sort of a confidant for Golden, if you will. And those are the main ones. Criterion is played by Kinga Press. Golden is played by Michalina Olszańska. Yeah. Silver is played by Marta Mazurek. Mietek by Jakub Giersjal. The drummer, the father, he isn't given a name besides drummer. Played by Andrzej Konopka. The house manager, the guy who runs the bar/restaurant, is a weird little dude, played by Zygmunt Malinowicz, and Triton is played by Marcin Kowalczyk. And there, that's probably the main intro for the people involved in the story. I realize I'm already running a little long, so I just want to go ahead and say as well, generally the film is very hypnotically entertaining. I will say, it will rivet you to the screen. You will go, what in the hell am I watching?
What happened?
but it will catch your attention and won't let you look away. The music is extraordinarily catchy. Even if some of the lyrics have something to be desired, it is extraordinarily catchy music. Very, very well done on a technical scale, production scale, and I actually, watching the documentary that comes with, helped me to appreciate the technical aspects that they do. They pull some very nice visual effects. There's some very good, like I said, the practical effects with the gore and whatnot. Very, very good. The tails that the girls wear are actually practical effects. They actually wore these, I think they were 6-foot long tails. Very, very interesting the way that they did everything, brought everything together, the way that the sound designer apparently worked very, very closely with the musicians, lyricist and composer, and they worked very, very closely with the screenwriter and the writer. They actually had written much of the music before the screenplay was even completed because they were all so closely intertwined. So that was very interesting that they pulled that off so well. It's a good movie. It's flawed. It's weird as hell. If you really love Disney's Little Mermaid and you would hate to see something that turns it completely on its head, might not be for you. There's also a ton of female nudity in here, so be aware of that going in.
No, sir, I don't like it.
Like I said, a little bit of gore, some drug use, definitely a lot. There's a whole scene where some people are completely strung out on drugs. It's kind of a weird, creepy scene. But a lot of that stuff I just mentioned became clear to me watching. There is a documentary that comes with this called Off the Hook, that is a new documentary where they talk with the director, the writer, the musicians, the sound designer, the main actresses. They just talk with a lot of people about the production. It's a very informative documentary. It's exactly the sort of thing that is, I think, a crucial central part of any Criterion release. Unfortunately, it's really the only special feature on disc that's truly improves your experience of the film. There is a really great essay that comes with it. Any Criterion release has this really good essay in the booklet that comes inside. And the booklets also give you lots of, you notice I was using that to tell you the cast list and everything, because they're always really good at including a cast and credit list in the booklet. Criterion, even their bare bones releases have good stuff. Just with what I just mentioned, this is already better than your typical release. It does include as well it does include deleted scenes, most of which don't really do that much for or against the movie.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
There is an alternate ending, and frankly, I prefer the ending that they went with the movie. But other than that, really, the thing that is included that's interesting, that almost makes this worth getting, is that Smozinska released 2 short films while she was a student. One of them is a documentary about an opera singer called Viva Maria, and that was the second one. That came out in 2010. The first one that came out in 2007 was called Aria Diva, and it's a fictional story about a young mother who's kind of has twin sons who are at that age. And she has a kind of a bored husband who loves her, but they're both bored. And upstairs, an opera diva moves in. Aria Diva was very interesting, and the girl playing the lead is cute in a weird way. but she's also very talented. I was impressed by her performance. The one who plays the opera singer, she does a good job, but frankly, in her early scenes, she comes off as straight up predatory.
Yeah, baby, yeah!
She's creepy in that first, like the one scene in particular, she's just straight up creepy. And she reminds me a little bit of Sting, if that makes sense. It was just really weird. But it was an interesting little short. I'd actually watched both of them when I checked the film out before, but it was very late at night, and the opera documentary in particular bored me, so I fell asleep during it.
A foreign film! Oh, the evening is saved! I like French films, pretentious, boring French films. I like French films. 3 tickets, s'il vous plaît. Ow.
This time around, I was alert and awake. I got more out of Aria Diva, but frankly, Viva Maria it's kind of dull. You're basically watching this opera star who's way past her prime coaching a new opera singer. And she comes off as a horrible taskmaster, but one who gets the job done, I guess. But having those shorts is a nice bonus feature. It really is. It has nothing to do really other than giving you a better feel for the director's work. It doesn't really give you much to do with this movie, but it's a nice bonus feature. And Criterion often includes ancillary works by the people whose films they're releasing, and that's a nice thing that they do. But that's really about it. That's really all the bonus features, which is why I was able to complete this so easily. They really should have waited another 5 years and let this film marinate before they put it out.
It stinks.
But on the other hand, I might not have ever gotten to it if that happened, so whatever. But at any rate, this ended up going a little longer than I had intended. I do apologize. But I did do a little bit of an intro there too. I am hoping I'll get to do a bunch more of these videos. I have plenty of Criterion films that need to be watched. And I think this would be a fun idea for a series. If you disagree, let me know. Let me know in the comments. If you have any Criterion films that you're like, oh, I would love to see a review of that, who knows, I may have it. Just let me know. And if not, it may be one I need to get. But like I said, I have a bunch of them coming up that I've already purchased that are top priority. At any rate, that's today's review. I do hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you got plenty out of it. And like, subscribe, leave comments below. Also, if there's anything you think that I need to focus more on further reviews, if you'd like to hear more about the bonus features versus the movie itself, or what have you, just let me know. And again, some of the ones coming up have a lot more bonus features than this one did. On the whole, this is like a deluxe edition, collector's edition movie. You know, there's a little bit more of that highbrow, we're going to include artistic student films, we're going to include an essay. There's a little bit more of that feel than like your typical deluxe edition, but it's still not quite Criterion level just because the film is too new. So, that's my thought. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching. Bye.
Goodbye.